Zverev shares candid take on why Djokovic doesn't receive the same love as Federer and Nadal. German star Alexander Zverev offered his thoughts on why Novak Djokovic hasn't been embraced by fans the same way Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal have throughout their legendary careers. Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, and Rafael Nadal have formed one of the greatest rivalries in tennis history, pushing each other to new heights and redefining the sport in the process. But while Djokovic has surpassed both in Grand Slam titles, he hasn't always earned the same level of admiration from fans. Ahead of his Wimbledon debut, Alexander Zverev reflected on that reality and shared why he believes Djokovic doesn't receive the same affection as his two greatest rivals. "I think he gets a lot of undeserved hate," Zverev told Tennis 365 at an exclusive Adidas event. "Obviously, Roger and Rafa are probably two of the most loved athletes of all time, right? They're probably both in the top 10 of the most loved athletes of all time. And Novak was spoiling the party a lot for the fans. But you know, all I can say is Novak is genuinely a good guy." Federer kickstarted his era of dominance by capturing the 2003 US Open, his first of 20 Grand Slam titles, before Nadal entered the scene in 2005, winning a total of 22 majors and beginning a fierce rivalry with the Swiss icon. Then came Djokovic, who clinched his first major in 2008 and has since gone on to win a record 24 Grand Slam titles, eclipsing both Federer and Nadal. Zverev praises Djokovic's generosity. As Wimbledon approaches, Zverev shared a moment from a recent practice session with Djokovic, highlighting the Serbian star's willingness to offer advice, even to a top rival. "Yesterday I practiced with him and I was asking him questions about my service and I was asking questions about the return and what he was focusing on," Zverev said. "You might think he is 5 or 6 in the world and I'm number 3 in the world and we might be competing at Wimbledon at some point, so he might not want to answer my questions. But he is so generous and he took his time to answer and to give me suggestions. I'm not sure anybody else in the world will do that to a direct competitor of his," he added. "He's so generous with his answers. He actually takes his time and thinks about everything before he gives you an honest answer. I'm not sure anyone else in that world would do that." Daniil Medvedev ends 15-month drought with win over Alexander Zverev in Halle semifinals. Daniil Medvedev defeated Alexander Zverev in the Halle semifinals, snapping a negative streak that lasted more than a year. On Saturday, Daniil Medvedev beat Alexander Zverev in the semifinals of the Tara Wortman Open in Halle, securing a spot in Sunday's championship match against Alexander Bublik. The former world number 1 ended a long-running drought with a victory. Medvedev is set to play in his first ATP Tour final in 15 months. His last appearance in a decisive match came in March 2024, when he reached the final at the Indian Wells Masters 1000 but lost in straight sets to Carlos Alcaraz. Now Daniil faces an even tougher challenge, ending his ongoing losing streak in finals and winning a title for the first time in over 2 years. His most recent tournament win came in May 2023, when he lifted the trophy at the Rome Masters 1000. Since then, Medvedev has reached the final in 5 different tournaments and lost every single one. In 2023, he was beaten by Novak Djokovic at the US Open and twice by Jannik Sinner at the China Open and Vienna Open. The following year, the young Italian got the better of him again at the Australian Open, followed by the aforementioned loss to Alcaraz at Indian Wells.